Experts say evidence has to be preserved even after someone is convicted of a crime. And now that evidence has been discovered inside the abandoned crime lab, the Detroit legal community is in an uproar. Private security guards now patrol the old Detroit crime lab after reports surfaced that the former lab was left unsecured with evidence still inside. The crime lab was housed in a former elementary school in Brush Park, but city officials shut it down in 2008 after an audit found serious errors in the evidence used to put some people behind bars. The Detroit Free Press discovered the ruined lab this week, which they said was open to trespassers. Reporters found thousands of rounds of live ammunition, as well as evidence kits and case files, some of which contained crime victims' social security numbers. Criminal defense lawyers tell Action News they are shocked and appalled that evidence has been left behind and possibly contaminated.
Police are trained to know better.
Dave Robinson is an attorney who used to be a Detroit cop. Crime lab evidence is needed for appeals and innocence projects long after a conviction in a case takes place. Lawyers say now there's no way to prove this evidence wasn't tampered with, which could jeopardize cases.
It's unfortunate because there are a number of cases that are going to fall by the wayside just by virtue of negligence.
When the lab was decommissioned, the Michigan State Police took over the testing of the DNA and ballistics evidence for Detroit. Today, Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worthy demanded an independent probe into why the building was left unsecured. In a written statement, Worthy said, quote, "DPD should have no part in this investigation. I am calling for the immediate intervention of MSP or other independent authority." Detroit Police Chief Ralph Godby completely agrees and has already spoken with the state police.
To ensure that if anything that was left behind has evidentiary value relative to any open cases, pending cases, or a case that has not been adjudicated, certainly we should not be the lead in that because under the Detroit Police Department's watch was when the crime lab was closed in the first place.
Chief Godby says he's already ordered his own internal affairs department to work with MSP and find out why the lab was left in disarray.
When we assess what happened, we will, if necessary, the appropriate disciplinary action will be meted out because it's just a matter of accountability. That is just not excusable, will not happen again under our watch.
Chief Godby says the former lab is now secured and that nothing will be removed from the building to preserve the integrity of the investigation into how this happened. State troopers will work with Detroit police to ensure the inventory of all the remaining property left at the old lab. Diana?
Heather, what does this mean for any pending cases?
Well, Diana, we don't know the full ramifications of this yet, but legal experts tell me anytime a case goes to trial, the prosecution has to show the chain of custody of evidence. So everybody who touched potential evidence from the crime scene all the way to the lab, it has to be documented that that evidence wasn't altered. So if you can't show where a piece of evidence has been for months or potentially years in this case, the evidence could be contaminated. The integrity is gone, which affects the entire criminal justice system. So if you've got someone wrongly convicted sitting in prison right now, maybe the evidence won't be able to free them, or maybe you have someone who did commit the crime who's appealing their case, and because of this mess, potentially, they could walk free. Diana?